Alright, guys, I finished my book, so now I'm back, and today we're going to talk about the most important things they never taught you in school: the singular nature of truth, first principles, and the three basic assumptions of science. Behind every act of evil, greed, or honest mistake, there is a person too ignorant to imagine cooperation or their own misunderstanding. And that one's from me. American culture is experiencing a crisis of truth. Many Americans are so ignorant that they find themselves to be virtuous, while their beliefs and behaviors are indistinguishable from misanthropy. Immediately, we are faced with a contradiction. Our society is full of people who claim to know the truth, but present vastly different narratives about the single universe they share. The conclusion is obvious. We need to get more Americans to achieve understanding of the truth and each other. Unfortunately, our education systems practically all but fail to mention the fields of philosophy and epistemology. How can Americans grapple with the truth without these conceptual tools? Obviously, they can't. So today, I'm going to teach you the most important things they never taught you in school: the singular nature of truth, the first principles, and the three basic assumptions of science. The singular nature of truth is that we live in a single universe which exhibits one true sequence of events. The events of our lives unfold in one way. Even the faintest and most uncertain quantum phenomena, which cannot be measured with absolute certainty, occur in a single way that humans can represent as a single range of possibility. For our words to be true, they must precisely represent the singular actual state of our one universe. Put another way, for our words to be true, they must be able to endure infinite investigation without producing contrary evidence. Knowing itself indicates the universe's singularity, as knowledge implies a single narrative. Finally, given the requirement of truth to faithfully represent the universe, what can be asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. First principles are propositions or assumptions which cannot be deduced from any other proposition or assumption. These first principles form the foundation of all understanding, as they describe the most basic and immutable forms and functions of the universe from a human perspective. For example, in mathematics, the axiom of equality is the assumption that equal values are equal. The axiom of equality is a first principle because the proposition the axiom represents cannot be deduced from another proposition. The equality of x to x cannot be determined by the investigation of y. Even if y is equal to x, that equality cannot be determined by the investigation of z. All hypothesis, theory, and understanding rest on the unchanging and singular nature of first principles like the axiom of equality. Many fields of study refer to basic assumptions. However, there are three basic assumptions which precede all others. These assumptions are required for human understanding to be compatible with the limits of human perception. These are the three assumptions of science: pre-existential and pre-ontological, existential, and ontological. Pre-existential and pre-ontological: you and the universe exist. Existential: you can learn from observing the universe. And ontological: you can make use of what you've learned. These assumptions are so basic that their application is intuitive even from tabula rasa. Even cats dogs, and animals of similar intelligence confidently embody the intuitive nature of these assumptions as they sustain themselves with and behave according to lessons learned from experience. To summarize in more colloquial terms, there is one universe which we can only assume exists, and to understand it, we must observe the absolute basics. When put so simply, these ideas are so obviously intuitive that elucidating them may seem trivial. In fact, it is this very attitude that American education has taken towards the entire field of epistemology, in no small part due to religious sensibilities. However, ignorance and egotism run rampant in every corner of human society. For every decision made in ignorance, there is an instance of a person who failed to understand the first principles and/or the three basic assumptions. Behind every act of evil, greed, or honest mistake, there is a person too ignorant to imagine cooperation or their own misunderstanding. It can be further deduced that, because of the singular nature of the universe and the fundamental nature of first principles, ignorance is involved in all disagreements. There is only one universe, and it behaves only one way. There are not two or more ideas which compete to describe the universe. There is simply the way the universe is and our best and complete understanding of it. As first principles are fundamental to knowledge and the three assumptions are fundamental to learning, ignorance is fundamental to misunderstanding and misleading. It is critical that Americans remedy the crisis of truth. We must admit, I may be ignorant, and then learn in order to protect ourselves and each other from misunderstanding, conflict, evil, and honest mistakes. If disagreement is the root of so many of our issues, and ignorance is involved in all disagreements, then, when we decide to behave and organize our lives according to first principles, these issues will disappear.